Hey, what is up, everyone? Welcome to today's Flipgrid Live event. We're really excited. Everyone's logging in. People are starting to sign on. I want to do some shout outs real quick. Where are you from? Hop over to the comments section. Put in the chat what classroom you're logging in from, what country you're showing up from, what office you snuck out of to go sit and watch your friend talk today on this Flipgrid Live event. And so let's see where we're from today. I want to get some stuff going up in the comments and let us know where you're from. I know we got people from Switzerland. I know we got people from all across the United States. And so we've got people dropping things in the chat that I don't even know where that is, but that looks awesome. We got people from all over the world clearly showing up today, which is really cool. And so toss in the chat where you're at. You can also share this on our social and let people know that you're watching this. This is going to be a very, very fun. We got people from Boston, Minneapolis, Brooklyn. Today's going to be a fun one. We have a really inspiring person that's going to talk about their story. Super excited for today. If you head over to flipgrid.com/design series, you can send us your video questions today. If you've got a question, we want to try to answer it today. So make sure you head over to flipgrid.com/design series. And so we're going to kick this thing off. Welcome to today's Flipgrid Live event. My name is Mike Smith. I'm your host. I'm tuning in today from my shed in Lincoln, Nebraska. And we're going to take a trip into the world of design. And today and every Friday of March, we're going to introduce you to some amazing, talented designers. And they're going to share with you how they combined their creative passion and their creative journey and their love for tech. And we hope this opens your mind to opportunities and pathways and just different things that maybe you didn't know existed in the world of design and the world of tech. So don't forget to drop your questions off to today. Flipgrid.com/design series. Send us in those video questions. We want to answer as many as we possibly can. And to add to the fun, if we don't get to your question and you drop it off in the flipgrid.com/design series, there's a theme happening here. You drop those off there. We're going to try to answer all of these questions at the end of the show. So after the show, we're going to try to get to as many of these as we possibly can. Let's get started. You're tired of hearing from me. And so today we are going to bring on a Flipgrid designer, Matsoshi, and she is fantastic. Matsoshi, say what's up to the Flipgrid world.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here today. Really happy.
This is going to be a fun one. I'm super excited too. Will you tell everyone tuning in what's your current role at Flipgrid? What do you do?
I'm currently a senior UX designer. I primarily work on the core UX and visual design across mobile and web. Right now, my focus is trust and safety. And as most of our users are students and minors, I work closely with research and content strategy to make sure that our messaging is transparent and our safety features are intuitive and easy to use. Yep, that's what I do.
That's a big job. All right. Most people don't lay in bed. I'm going to do that when I grow up. And so connect the dots. Like, tell us your design story. Tell us your journey. How'd you get there?
Well, I grew up in South Africa, post-apartheid, and being surrounded by such tragedy, I think that's where I learned that the key to everything and getting through anything is creativity, right? Because dire circumstances, political strife, and also just understanding the ideas of diversity and inclusion and where we stand in the world, right? And creativity felt like it's the key that links everything. So I studied fine art, well, not fine art after college, but I was doing it throughout school and high school. And then I decided on graphic design because I think at the time I didn't know that being an artist was a viable career. But in any case, I got into graphic design. I went to college. My first job was designing GUI, which was like Photoshop buttons on kiosks for banks. And eventually I became a graphic designer and did a lot of production jobs and also different studios. I eventually became an art director at BBDO, which is one of the biggest agencies worldwide, based in South Africa. And then after that, after advertising and marketing for a while, I kind of felt disillusioned and I decided to leave it all and go traveling. And so I decided to teach English to fund my travels and did some design jobs on the side and other creative pursuits. Music. I was a wedding singer at some point. And had bands and everything. And eventually I stumbled upon UX because I was going back into design. And it felt to me like the perfect confluence of bringing my creativity and my love for learning about different industries and actually solving real life problems and helping people with tech. And I haven't looked back since.
Incredible story. And I know you can only say so much here, but for every learner, listener, adult out there, think about how many incredible pivots and career changes. And it was,
Mhm.
went from this to this to this. But the thing that you took with you was your skills, all these talents, all these skills you've accumulated, you've just taken from industry to industry. And so I just want to pause for a moment and let all of you young people out there who think you've got to have that one job in your head, figured out what you're going to be for the rest of your life. This is clear proof that it's not necessarily about that one job. It's that
Mhm.
love for creativity and for skills. And so I think it's such a cool story, and I know I want to hear so much more. And so, I hope we hear more.
Oh,
And so
definitely.
I can't wait. And so thank you so much for sharing that. And I also want to say 5 years of traveling, get out of here. That's what everybody wants to do. That's like the life that
Right.
so many people want. And so thank you for
Mm.
just showing us that's possible. What a cool thing to do. I'm sure you've got a million stories from,
Indeed. Indeed, I do.
it probably inspired your creativity along the way. You've taken things from around the world and put that into your design.
Absolutely. I think travel was probably the biggest teacher I've ever had. And if I could make it a part of my daily experience, that's definitely something that I encourage everybody to do as much as possible, because there's nothing like it. It's priceless, the things that you learn from immersing yourself in different cultures and being open to learning. And that's it, really.
I love
Yeah.
that. I love
Yeah.
that. Being open to learning. I love it. And
Mm.
so we have a series where we call rapid fire. This is where we got a prompt, we fired at you, and you got like 30 seconds to answer it. Are you cool taking part
Ooh,
in our little rapid fire section we've got prepared for you?
let's go.
Okay. Our first prompt is,
Oh, okay. Once I worked with a couple of friends of mine to create an augmented reality experience, and we created a portal that was based in an Afro-futurist, Afro-surrealist depiction that I had gotten a chance to illustrate based off elements of my indigenous design from my country and other countries in Africa, and my love of sci-fi. So together we mapped and choreographed the whole experience. It was awesome. My favorite part was seeing people's faces light up as they discovered the Easter eggs that we planted in the whole experience, and really falling in love with augmented reality. And that's it.
I imagine designing that with your friends, planting those Easter eggs, coming up with it was so fun and such an
Mhm.
awesome creative process. I'm sure that was so cool.
It certainly was. And I've been in love with extended reality since then. So I'm always dabbling and trying to do other projects on the side that involve that, because it's incredible. And the world is now turning onto it too, which is even more amazing.
Oh, I can't wait to stumble into some room you create someday and see what it's all about. I'm looking forward to that. I really, truly am.
It's going to
Okay,
be fun.
I know. That sounds like it. It sounds crazy. It sounds really cool. All right. Our third and final prompt we've got for you today is,
Okay, the advice I would give to someone who is starting a career in design is stay curious, get lost often, and listen. Travel, expose yourself to different things, put yourself in uncomfortable situations, because this is how you learn and this is how you hone your craft, right? Find mentors and be a mentor, even if you don't feel like you're ready, because learning is an infinite cycle, and this is how you feed yourself. Keep sharpening your hard and soft skills. And even if you have a full time job, continue to do freelance work, because this helps you develop a broader portfolio and increases your experience.
I love that. You have such a love for that, putting yourself in that uncomfortable space where you don't know
Mhm,
what it is. You're just going to learn it and figure it out as you go. And that it
mhm.
seems to just continue to pay off for you. And it's really admirable. And it's a very, very cool thing. So that was fun. Thank you for partaking in our rapid fire little portion we had there. And so now I want to take some questions that we've got from people tuning in. And so if you've got comment section, blow that up. We want to see what your questions are for Matsoshi. We want to see if we have an opportunity to ask those. You can also head over to flipgrid.com/design series and send in your video questions. And we're going to try to get to some of those as well. And so let's see the first question that we've got coming in. Okay. First question that I've got here right now is, name a time when your design mind was just like blown. Like what was it? What was the thing where you were like jaw on the floor, couldn't believe it?
I think every single time that I see folks applying design thinking to non typical problems, that blows my mind. especially now where we're coming into this era of people being more socially aware and having a lot more understanding of the world that we're living in, but using design thinking to solve for humanity and thinking around like what are more creative ways to build cities, to organize transport, to organize, to get movements working and thoughts and ideologies out there. Because at the end of the day, everything is designed, everything from race to religion. And so we have this opportunity to just break it and make it and break it again. And every single time I encounter individuals who do that, I'm blown every time.
I love that. I love that. I think a lot of us look at the world and we just exist in it. We
Right.
don't realize how much design went into everything around us and how
Mhm.
much just effort was taken into that. And so it's cool. It's cool you see the art and the beauty and the design and all of those things. And I think that's such a cool perspective to have. And so no surprise, we have a ton of questions coming in multiple ways. And so we have a video question for you. And
Okay.
let's check out this video question.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I work on the engagement team at Flipgrid, and I'm really excited for this Q&A to learn a little bit more about Matsoshi. Curious about how many languages Matsoshi speaks, and then also any of your design influences. Who is a designer or a particular design that has inspired you?
Okay. This is a disclaimer. Most people who are from where I'm from, South Africa, are multilingual because most of us just grow up going in and out of our languages. And so this is the reason why I speak many languages. So I would say in total, it would be 6 languages, 5 of which are from home, which is Sepedi, Setswana, Sizulu, English, and Afrikaans. And then Korean because I spent so much time there when I was traveling. And also, I mean, my polyglot life is still a work in progress. So yeah, I'm always looking to practice more because more languages equals, I don't know, the world is just a better place for it, you know?
Oh, I love that. And
Yeah.
learning, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Learning new languages connects you to new cultures and new people, and it's such an awesome way to just share in the design of someone else's culture, which I'm sure you pull from all the time. Such a cool thing. And so, um, we've got questions popping in here. Let me grab one of these from the chat.
Hmm.
This one says, it says you are so vision oriented. How do you include the past while still being a Black futurist?
Well, I think it's because of the way that I grew up, right? I grew up in a society where the past was pulling on the present and pulling on the future. And so we had no choice but to be creative and survive, to my earlier answer. And because I'm constantly surrounded by these incredible women in my life, incredible family who have been a family of activists and always drawing attention to the things that are happening in our sphere and always using creative means to go by them. So my mom, for example, is in the nursing field, and so is my grandma, and they're still working through this pandemic. But my mom sends me selfies of her in makeup and looking so glamorous and so wonderful because she knows that I need that. And my uncle, he is involved in community work at home with getting indigenous stories of how we came to be, of our tribes, of, you know, the languages that are lost. And so growing up with people like that, there's no choice but to be creative, and there's no choice but to make sure that we're rooted in something true. And that is yourself and your soul and where you come from. So hopefully I can take it further and bring the world along with.
Oh, we have no doubt. There's no doubt you will. And so, we have another question that came in from the chat, and it said, "What are you most excited for in the latest advancements in extended reality?"
I'm excited to work on the blurring of lines between what is tangible and intangible in an ethical and sustainable way. I'm excited about how we start to view the world and even look beyond what we're calling human-centric design. I think we need to look beyond and we need to look at life-centric design. How are we building worlds that are sustainable, not just for us, because we're the most consuming species on this planet, but how do we preserve and bring beauty and bring life and just celebrate life while also advancing in technology? And I think that that's a lesson that is being learned with extended reality, because the worlds have no limits. There are no more walls. There's more than one axis. It's infinite. It's infinite space and infinite space for creativity. And we have an opportunity to not bring the ills of this world into those worlds. And that's exciting to me.
I think that's very cool. And so you know, saying things like there's infinite possibility and there's so many, you know, it's endless opportunity out there, which is so true. So thinking to high school students and young people that or even younger people that might be watching this today, what can they do? Infinite and endless opportunity sometimes can be really overwhelming when you're like 12, you know?
This is true. This is true.
What would you say to a young person today if they're relating to this, but they just want to get started? Like they don't exactly know what their start should be. What would you tell them to kind of the first steps could be?
I would say if you feel that you have an inkling towards creativity, however way it may be expressed, do it, but do it with joy, do it intentionally and practice, right? And don't practice for an end product, do it for yourself. Because what you find is when you're doing it for yourself, the world looks in and looks at you and like, oh, that's amazing. But you don't have that pressure of having to reach some sort of bar, first of all. And secondly, invite your friends, take your friends with you. My best creative work, I worked with my friends, and you know, people who understand you, you know, the way that you think and encourage you. You build ideas together, and those are really great bonds. So things like that are important. And ask for help. Don't be afraid to ask for help. There's always someone out there who will take the time to spend with you, to help you, to teach you.
I love that. I love that so much. Ask for help. It's so important, you know, and we all get stuck, and a lot of times we just think we can know these things, but asking for help is obviously such an important thing. And so I love that. And so somebody asking for help in the chat, I want to also just say a couple other things that are happening in the chat right now. We got shout outs to Joyce. I think it's Perrette. She says she is just so excited to hear from you. Ando says that I wish I was as cool as Matsoshi. We all, the line is around the block to be as cool as they are. And Connor says just the coolest person ever. And so I hope, you know, people are inspired by this and people are really excited about what you have to say. And so someone asked a kind of a specific question, which I think a lot of people are interested in, is what steps would you recommend to someone who is getting into the research side of UX if they're not sure, you know, on their design skills?
So if you're interested in the research side of UX, I think align yourself with a mentor, someone who works directly in the field. Get to know the UX process, because a lot of what happens is the iceberg. The iceberg is research. What we play with, the tactile experiences, are the final touch. And make sure that you train yourself to ask questions. It's easy to ask questions that have a dead end. It's a lot more difficult to ask questions that elicit deeper answers so that you can get to those deeper insights. And also humility and empathy. Don't ever assume that you know more. Never do that. Always assume that there's more to learn and that people are people. And once given a chance to connect, you will learn a lot more and be able to build better products for them.
I love it. I love it so much. It sounds like that commitment to a mentor is a really important thing. And that coachability and that listening to people help kind of usher your skills up is something you've taken a really active role in, just inviting people into your journey to give you feedback and coaching along the way. And that's hard. That's hard for people to do. It's hard to let people in on that level, but you get so much better because of it. And it's really cool that you may have made such an emphasis on that. And so we have so many questions. We've got video questions coming in, but I know we got to wrap this thing up. And so I just want to say thank you so much for joining us today. I wish we had hours to hear from you. I really think, and I'm sure everyone in the chat's going to agree, you need a podcast, you need a vlog, you need your own channel, you need to be out putting stuff out in the world, a book, whatever it is, a retreat. I'll show up. You got
sweet.
Yeah, you've got a lot of really awesome things to say, and I think there are a lot of people who would be interested in following your journey. And so, do you have any final thoughts you'd like to share with us today?
Well, firstly, thank you, and all those things are coming up soon, so watch the space.
Okay.
And the final thing that I would like to say, just for all designers or anybody aspiring to take a career that is very creative oriented, is please do your best to look after yourself, look after your mental health, because unlike other avenues, other careers, your creativity is closely linked to your output if you choose a career that is in the creative field. And sometimes you may take critical feedback very personally, and it could affect what you think of yourself and your self-concept. So take care of yourself, trust your craft, and trust that you have that purpose and that creativity is an integral part of who you are and not just your job.
I love that. Trust the path. Take care of yourself, stay curious, find a mentor. There's a million things you've said today that I think are going to stick with us. And I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. And so our hope with this whole design series wasn't just so that learners would sit and listen. We really wanted to spark a fire that could hopefully help set them on their own design path. And so you've created a design challenge for us, which everyone can find in the design series in the Flipgrid group by heading to, guess what? Flipgrid.com/design series. And so head there. Yeah, there's a design series there for us.
Yes. So my challenge is the My Voice, My Brand challenge. As you know, Flipgrid is very much about empowering every voice. And today, I think everyone's personal brand is what speaks the loudest. So my challenge is for folks to define what your personal brand is. It's not only an exercise to create a visual identity, it can also be something that's more intricate where you define who you are as a person. And I do this exercise periodically to remind myself of what's truly important to me and also encourage myself when things are a little rough. And I found that through this exercise, I get to incorporate design into my life in a really meaningful way. So when I'm talking about a brand, of course, there are different elements that come into play from colors and shapes, graphics and typography. But a great brand not only has the power to communicate what you stand for, but what you aspire to be. So take the time, let yourself imagine and create the brand of you. I've set aside 3 steps to the My Voice, My Brand challenge. The first step is introspection. So you're asking yourself some really deep questions. Second step is visualization. You make a mood board or a visual that showcases your answers to these questions. And the third step is vocalization, where you share your mood board or doodle or image and talk us through the brand of you.
I love it. I love it. Well, I know I speak for all of us when I say we are excited to see all of the video responses that come in from that challenge. And so, Matsoshi, thank you so much for your time today. I know I will be following and listening and looking forward to keeping up with your journey and looking for, just forward to what you create and the cool things that you continue to do with your creative skills. And so thank you again so much for your time today. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Much appreciated for all those folks who joined in today. I really am grateful. much gratitude. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, everyone that's been watching from classrooms and wherever you're at around the world, we hope you learned something new today. And if you have more questions for Matsoshi, head over to flipgrid.com/design series. You can drop your video question off there. They're going to try to answer as many of those as they possibly can after today. Next week, we're going to be right back here. We've got Samuel Mensah, a creative, joining us from London. And this dude's been able to work with brands like Nike, Google, and Virgin. And now he is currently at Flipgrid helping us design the world's most expressive camera. All that cool stuff you see going down on the Flipgrid camera, this dude's behind a lot of that. And so if you want to learn about this stuff and hear about the journey, go to aka.ms/Samuel M. Bonsu. That is aka.ms/Samuel M. Bonsu. We look forward to seeing you at our next Flipgrid Live event. Thanks so much for being here, and we'll see you all next Friday.